Hello, and welcome back to the Writer Wizard podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be going over, um, well, I want to start with a couple reviews of movies that I went to see with my daughter that we didn't get a chance to make D&D episodes of. One of which is going to be the Super Mario movie. The other is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves. And then I'll probably be talking about a few topics that relate to the state of the world and what's going on out in the world right now. And then I'll probably finish off with an update on my work. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright, so, to start with, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves. So, we went to see this movie, and I actually rather enjoyed it. Um, I'm not a huge fan of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I like it. I own some of the books. I've never really gotten to play it. I have played other games like Dungeons and Dragons, namely Rifts, when I lived in Florida with some friends of mine. Um, I had a lot of fun playing those games, and I know that a lot of what they did with Rifts, they included stuff from Dungeons and Dragons and other games too. It was very cyberpunk like, but it was still very D&D like. So, yeah, I ended up getting banned from using grenades when I used to play because every time I rolled the dice to try to use a grenade, it was catastrophic. So, but what did I think of the movie? Well, I would give it probably an 8 out of 10. Now, I had seen the originals, and I probably would have given the original D&D probably a 6 out of 10, just because I was a fan of Justin Whalen from Child's Play 3 and Lois and Clark. And I actually didn't think the story was too bad. Of course, I didn't really know a lot about Dungeons and Dragons back then either. And I learned a little bit more about Dungeons and Dragons since. Uh, there is a lot of references to things in Dungeons and Dragons in the movie. So, I mean, it's a lot more faithful from what I could tell. I really wish there was like some kind of setup because I don't know, like I said, a lot about that world and everything. But one thing I do know is that there are two main big villains, Vecna and Acererak. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of others, but I would have felt like I thought that something was going to be leading up to one of them returning. It would have been really interesting to see the one of the first campaigns that was released back in the 80s. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. It's in the book of Ready Player One, where you go into a Sarax tomb. The Tomb of Horrors, I think it's called. Yeah, that's it. Tomb of Horrors. And Serac is kind of like the main villain at the end. So it would have been interesting for them to include that at least, but no, they didn't do that. I mean, they could have included Vecna as like, you know, a lore thing, but I feel like they might have skipped out on that because of Stranger Things. But I feel like because of Stranger Things, that would have been something the more mainstream would have known about. But I'm happy with what we got, and I hope we get sequels, that do start including a Serac or Vecna. So, like I said, I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's definitely better than the other one with Justin Whalen. Um, the second one wasn't too bad. There was one that followed the villain. I can't remember his name, but it was played by, I think, the actor Bruce Payne, and he did really good. But it would have been interesting too if maybe they had some reference to the other Dungeons and Dragons thing. Like, even if they were going through like some treasure or something, and they threw aside one of the wands that the wizards were using in to control the dragons in the original, or not original, but the I think it was what, late 90s or early 2000s. Yeah, I think it's early 2000s. But it was good. I enjoyed it. It'll be interesting to see where we go from there. So moving on, um, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now I talked in the past about possibly me and my daughter were going to go see the Super Mario movie, and we're gonna do a review. However, unfortunately, um, we did go see it, but my daughter had a sleepover planned, and right after the sleep, right after the movie, the people that were supposed to be sleeping over, which wasn't much, it was just her cousins, they decided they didn't want to stay the night. So there was a lot of fighting, and my daughter was heartbroken. So basically, she didn't feel like doing much of anything, and we had to basically stop. So, what would I give Super Mario movie? I would give it a 9 out of 10. The reason why I would give it a 9 out of 10. Hold on. I would give it a 9 out of 10. The reason why is, yes, I really did enjoy it a lot. The graphics were pretty good. Nothing, you know, to write home about. Nothing new, nothing great. It basically felt like a kid's movie, like, Shrek, Despicable Me, one of those, you know, type of movies. And I can't say I've got extensive knowledge of the Super Mario world. I might have played Super Mario Kart, the original Super Mario Kart, a couple times. The only games I really played a lot of was Super Mario Bros., Super Mario 2, Super Mario 3, and once in a little bit, Super Mario World. A little tiny bit of Mario Kart, and that was about it. Oh, wait, I did play a very little tiny bit of Mario 64. I never owned it. Other people owned it, or they had it at like stores where they were trying to sell the game, trying to sell the systems. So they would have like little stands where you could go play it. Um, so I do now have Bowser's Fury and Mario, the other Mario that is attached to it. So I did recognize the cat suit thing. Um, we tried to get the new Mario Kart because my daughter wants to play that, and I actually the day we went to see it, I got her a new Mario game. It's this one with the rabbits, Spark of Hope. But yeah, so I know some things about Super Mario, but I definitely will say that this is a much more faithful adaptation than the 90s movie, which I think everyone's going to say. I mean, that I was a kid when the 90s movie came out, so yeah, it had the Super Mario name, and we were just happy that we had something. So, but was it a good movie? No. Could you sit down and enjoy it if you were a kid? Yeah. They had the names. It had funny moments. It just really had. Yeah, I was a little confused as a kid. Like, why does this not look anything like it? Why does this look like any futuristic movie? we were, like I said though, we were just told, oh, you just got to be happy that you got something. But anyways, now seeing this one, it made me go, God, what were those people smoking when they made that movie? That that goes to show clearly the people who were in charge of making that movie had zero idea what Mario was about. At least this one's a lot more faithful, and you clearly know that the people who were in charge know what the games are somewhat about. In the original Mario game, there's no real explanation as for why Peach is captured, um, or why your character is a plumber in a world with mushrooms and kingdoms and all these other things. And you never really learn why Mario got there. So, like I said, 9 out of 10 for the Super Mario Brothers movie. My daughter, I'm sure she would give it a 10 out of 10. I would say going out that my only biggest issue is that it's called the Super Mario Brothers, and Luigi kind of got sidelined for most of the movie. Yeah, he comes back in the end, but he's not really a main character. I mean, a lot of people said, "Oh, well, he needed someone to go save." You know, well, first off, they didn't know how to get back. They didn't know what was going on. So even if they had stuck together, it could have been her, Princess Peach, trying to convince these two other humans to stay and help. And it could have been like, Mario trying to convince Luigi, hey, we're here, we gotta help. But, anyways, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I will have some other stuff to talk about. So, hello there. I promise we'll get right back to the video shortly. I just wanted to say that many writers, YouTubers, readers, and gamers often talk about one thing that they all share in common, and that is drinking coffee. And perhaps you're tired of going out and ordering expensive high-end coffees and cappuccinos from huge corporations and are looking for a way to have that same or better coffee brewed right in your own home. So I want to ask that you consider trying Coffee Brand Coffee. You can order from an array of different blends that will be delivered right to your door. And if coffee is not your thing, they also have teas, cocos, and chocolates. Why am I doing this, you may ask? Well, for a long time now, I have been a fan of a channel called The Quartering, which is constantly reporting on the news, and the head of the channel, Jeremy, has worked really hard for his viewers over the time I've watched this channel. He has done so much, helping out others and smaller channels, working hard to make several videos a day, which I can tell you, does take quite a good amount of work. And recently, he started his own coffee company. So if you're willing to try and change to a better coffee, tea, or K-cup because you need that sweet caffeine fix to get you through writing that next novel, reading that next book, playing that new video game long into the late hours of the night, or starting off early in the morning for a long live stream, then head over to the website for Coffee Brand Coffee or check out the channel The Quartering and see what delicious specials they have going on. Okay, and we are back. And going on in the world. Wow, what has been going on in the world? Well, surprisingly, after my last podcast video, which has gotten a bunch of views, only one comment though. I'm actually kind of shocked I only got one comment. It wasn't super negative. I would say there was a negative inclination in it because someone was just like, "Oh, you said that. Nice knowing you." And to that I say, well, unless the video gets a ton of attention, I doubt anyone's going to care that I said that. I mean, I'm not any of the big time people, So, and if you're following me, you're probably someone that does follow, like Matt Walsh, or The Quartering, or The Daily Wire, or Steven Crowder, Tucker Carlson. And if you're one of those people that follows these groups, that is a fan of what these people are saying, then it shouldn't bother you what I say. Like I said, I don't think the alphabet people out there really know that my channel even exists. Maybe one day they will, and then they'll come back and they'll try to get me for it, but that they gotta survive politically what's going on right now. And that's one of the reasons I waited to do this episode. I didn't want to do this, and then suddenly things drop off, and, you know, gets swept under the rug. But as I said in the previous video, we're at war. This is World War III. Only it's not being fought on a physical battlefield. Not entirely. The world is the battlefield. The main battlefield is the World Wide Web. The only place you can really have a war. And yes, there are more and more shootings going on. And I keep hearing about them. I keep hearing about people getting shot. People are out there. They are scared. Places like in California look like they could be war zones. And California is done. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's done. I mean, I've seen footage of California, all the homeless. And this isn't like just one city. This isn't just one place. This is getting out of hand. And the government's worried about, oh, well, you didn't use the right pronouns. You got people living in your streets. And you're worried about immigrants being treated fairly when they choose to come here. That makes no sense. Sorry if you hear my dog barking. She likes to bark a lot, so. But anyways, so Bud Light. If you haven't been living under a rock, you know what's been going on with Bud Light. So I'm not really sure what all I can say that's new information, but this is a prime example. And me and my friend, we were talking about this, and I was telling him, I was like, well, if you think about it, everything that they try to fight, everything they try to say, oh, well, we need to go against this. We need to boycott this. The alphabet people wanted to boycott Hogwarts Legacy because it's connected to J.K. Rowling. Now the right side wants to boycott Nike because they too supported a person that we're not allowed to name on YouTube anymore because YouTube's a bunch of cowards and wants to protect those people over everyone else who makes them money. When did we go from a Star Trek state of mind where the needs of the few or the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few to the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many? I mean, probably when these people had enough money and said, protect me, here, take my money, protect me. You do realize that we're coming up on another election and that it's very likely the Democrats aren't going to win. I mean, it's just flat out clear at this point. If they win the next election, it's fixed. It's rigged. There's no chance of you talking your way out of this. That is the point. At least here in America. Democrats have messed up so badly so badly and they've done so much damage that this country will riot if they win the next election. Because it'll be clear that there's tampering. It'll be clear that strange things are going on and that people's votes are being toyed with. So they're going to lose. The only question is, which Republican person are we going to get in office? Is it going to be Trump again? That would be their best bet. Because then they can constantly say, look at the bad job he's doing, even though he didn't do a bad job. He didn't do a bad job at all. He was too busy trying to fix problems from the previous administration while dealing with his own problems. He was trying to put the world back on track, and he only had a 4-year time to do it. If he had been around for this 4 years, things would have been better because things would have been fixed. So I don't really envy him moving forward if he does actually win this election, because then he'll spend another 4 years trying to fix it again, and we'll have a repeat of what happened with the Star Wars sequels, where J.J. Abrams did some stuff, then you had, I forget, Rian Johnson come in and do his own thing, but his thing didn't quite match with JJ's. I'm not saying it was bad. There was some things that he did that weren't great, but it wasn't all horrible. But then when JJ came back, because they didn't trust putting another person in charge, so they're like, okay, let's bring JJ back for the third one. And when they did that, he spent half his time trying to fix the problems from the previous movie, because it just threw everything up in the air. Like, oh, what could it be? What can I do? And I think JJ made the best decisions he could for the franchise. Decisions that, honestly, we should have had to begin with. Should have been set up to begin with that way. And yeah, me and my friend, we argue about this a lot, about how, if they didn't want the expanded lore. Yeah, they didn't want the expanded lore because the expanded lore set it on a path that was already judged. And no one wants to see that. If George Lucas wanted it that way, then he should have just moved forward with it instead of waiting 20 years. He should have just done it and got it over with if he really agreed with the way the expanded lore was. But I'm glad he didn't, because it gives a new, fresh perspective. But with that said, like I said, going back to politics, so JJ was fixing the problems of the previous movie from Rian Johnson, so we got a weird kind of final movie. I still enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed that more than The Last Jedi. But like I've told my friend, there are certain aspects of The Last Jedi I really did enjoy. There's a lot I didn't enjoy. It's 50-50 for me. Of all the Star Wars movies out there, it's 50-50. Half of it I really like, half of it I don't like. I don't like the directions they took several of the plot key moments, like Phasma. I don't like that they killed her off in that one, essentially. Unless she appears again. Because especially they were talking her character up so much. And it's like, how are you going to talk this character up so much if you're just going to throw him away? Which, if you were going to just do that, why didn't you just do that to begin with? I mean, I guess we never really clearly got a idea of her fate. Just maybe we're going to do this, but as I pointed out to my friend, in the case of Phasma, you know, do you essentially want the good guys killing someone who they've already got captured? I mean, they probably just were saying that to scare her. They weren't really going to do it. That's not in the moral code of a hero. So, throw it. They were really. You think they're really going to throw it in a trash compactor? I never bought that for a second. But anyways, moving on. So back to what I was saying, Bud Light, it has suffered so much. Why is Bud Light being so affected by this boycott? Well, because unlike most things, Bud Light is a product that people were buying almost every day. Think every night when people go out to bars and they choose a drink, they have a choice of drinks. Bud Light is one of them. When they go to the store and they pick up a 12-pack, and if you think that they're not selling thousands and thousands of 12-packs a day, then you're mistaken. Nike, yes, Nike is a big selling brand, but their freaking shoes are expensive. I don't know about the rest of their clothing lines, but I know their shoes are expensive, and it's going to take you like 6 months to a year to wear through some shoes. Probably the same with clothing, depending on what you do with your clothes. So you're not buying brand new Nikes every day. You're not buying a brand new Nike outfit every day. So Nike getting boycotted would take too long. But not Bud Light. Bud Light being boycotted when sales drop off the next day. You know you've made a mistake. And what has Bud Light done about this? Well, they've beaten around the bush with a half-ass apology. They're not even really trying to apologize. They're hiding. They're hoping it'll stop. They're in a corner cowering like, please make it go away. Please make it go away. Please make it go away. They tried letting go of the person who basically said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. And now we have this strange thing happening where where basically YouTube is stepping in, and if you talk about a certain person or a certain group directly, they demonetize your channel. They take out put a claim on your video, like they're trying to cover it up. They're trying to help stop. And I can't help but think that some of that might be because Bud Light's been like, like I said, they've been in the corner cowering, and then you got YouTube over here like, okay, well, give us money. And they gave them money, and they said, make it go away. And YouTube's like, I'll make it all go away. I'll put a stop to it. That's the only thing I can think is going on. Now, I do see that there's a video from the quartering today talking about Bud Light again, which tells me they're still in panic. They're still panicking, but it looks like they may have fired more people. I'll probably check into that. And if you want real up-to-date information, like right away, be sure to check out go check out the quartering. And if he ends up leaving, because he's starting his own entire channel thing, his own website, it sounds like. Basically, he's starting his own Daily Wire. Which, hey, Jeremy, if you want someone who's not afraid to speak out and make videos that would basically be on par with Matt Walsh for your version of Daily Wire, let me know. I am doing my best to keep in the confines of YouTube's rules, but I would love to be on a podcast where I can openly talk and say the things without being restrained. So, there's only so much I can say on this program, on this channel, because this channel is primarily for me to have fun doing movie reviews and stuff with my daughter while trying to get the word out about my books. This is my platform, the only platform I really have. I do put out videos on BitChute, but unfortunately, my videos have to be within a certain time frame because they don't take very long videos. You can't have very long videos over there. So that is why I, even though I'm not monetized, even though I don't make money off of YouTube, which, that's the real sad thing. So here, we'll get into this. Matt Walsh was basically canceled on YouTube. He was going through some stuff, and I thought it was weird that we weren't getting a video like every day for Matt Walsh like we normally do Monday through Fridays. Yeah, he would miss a day here, he missed a day there, but we usually got one most every day. And then for like a week and a half, we started not getting videos every day. And now it's clear why, because, like I said, YouTube is putting a stop to people who are speaking the real truth. People who are out there fighting to save our rights, to save our entire planet from this insanity of this cult people, by basically explaining the truth, explaining how the world really works. And, because the reason why I say that is mainly because of the fact, if you listen to what he says, what he's saying is true. And it's true. And that's what threatens these alphabet people so much. They know it's true. And people around them start to bring up this stuff. They're like, oh, well, I think this. No, you're a Matt Walsh person because you're saying the same thing he said. And they talk about how it threatens them. Well, it does threaten them. It threatens them because they're being threatened with the fact that they might have to face reality. That there are only two genders. There are only men and there are women. There's really no in between. I know what I said, and I really don't change what I said. Only reason I only reason I said what I said last episode wasn't just to be harsh. It was because it's the truth. By his standards. If there's more than one, then there's only three. Man, woman, other. Man, woman, it. That is it. There can only be three. By their logic. And you should, if that's the logic you're going to go with, then you got to freaking pick. And when you pick, you will be tattooed. That way nobody can misgender you. You will have your pronouns tattooed on your forehead. Clear as day, printed in perfect English. Maybe you'll even have a little UPC box code. So if anybody scans that with their phone who can't read English, it'll translate it into other languages. It'll take you right to a page where it'll show you the translation in any other language you want. Brought to you by Google. But no, that was just the truth by their logic. But by reality's logic, there is man and there is woman. There is nothing else. You cannot be one and really change the other. Even if you remove body parts, you cannot do that. And you know what? This is something that I've recently thought about with these people. And this is what drives me so freaking crazy. Now I'm going to speak. Every time I do one of these, I try to talk to a certain group of people. And right now, today, I want to talk to the feminist. First off, women. I'm really hoping you hear this. This is major for you, okay? We men, despite all the anger and hatred you feminists have for men, really I don't know why, because without our two sides working together like we're supposed to, yeah, fine. You want equal stuff. We get it. We've given it to you. Quit now. Stop doing what you're doing. You're only hurting yourselves. You're going from we want equality to now we just want to get rid of you. Like, I literally, in the past month, have seen 4 different videos from 4 different people that involved women, some feminists, some woman feminists, saying they want to kill all men. Are you freaking insane? Without men and without women, the human race dies. But here's my thing, okay? I don't want to get too far from this. because I want to be serious about this. And I want you to pay very good attention to it. Right now, they are trying so hard to make it where a man can become a woman and then have a baby. And I hear, you know, oh, well, it's not fair to the men who can't get pregnant. And the other side has really never had a huge argument over why are you trying to do this? But women, I have the answer for you. I have your big bullet, your big cannonball that just sheds a hole, shreds right through their argument. Are you ready for this? What about the women we have who cannot get pregnant? Why are you trying so desperately to get someone pregnant who's not supposed to get pregnant, but actually the people who are supposed to get pregnant can't get pregnant, and you should be trying to fix that? But I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we'll finish up. Be right back.
For thousands of years, the world has been protected by the Guardian of Light, or as he is more commonly known, Santa Claus. Over the centuries, factors such as fear and prejudice, greed and jealousy, misunderstandings, betrayal and war have segregated most humans from the magical world of elves, fairies, wizards, and the like. This has resulted in many misconceptions and generalizations of the true nature of Santa and his world.
This 6-book series by Sean Connaughton begins as the current of a long series of guardians is murdered by a group of monstrous enemies recently escaped from an enchanted South Pole prison. These creatures are loyal to the darkness, an evil force determined to exterminate the light in order to enslave all creatures of the world.
Shane Connor, an average young man, suddenly finds himself being trained as the new guardian. As he adapts to his new life among fantastic creatures, he goes on an adventurous quest with a legendary wizard for the ultimate weapon to use against the darkness, and faces murderous enemies like Rasputin, Morgana Le Fay, Krampus, and many more.
Along with his best friend Joe Gomez, Shane encounters politics, history, mysterious murders, new loves, his own hidden past, and racial dynamics among the fantasy races that turn out to be all too real. Their adventures reveal the true nature of the world and challenge the current state of how all races interact.
This series expertly melds myths, legends, history, faiths, folklore, and secret societies into a fascinating, cohesive, comprehensive world of wonder and magic.
From Atlantis to Olympus, from Hades to the moon, and from broomstick races to Christmas deadlines, join the new Santa Claus on his amazing journey. But beware! Will Shane's quest achieve his ultimate goal of destroying the darkness and preserving the light of the world? Or is he actually playing right into a plot by dark forces that will result in his, and our, ultimate doom?
So make your list and check it twice for the Guardian of Light book series. Download your audiobook or ebook today from Audible, Amazon, or iTunes.
Alright, sorry I had a very important phone call come in. So where was I? So, that's my thing. Why are we trying to make men pregnant when you have women who, for one reason or another, cannot get pregnant, but want to? It's like, what's a good scenario I could use here? I don't know. It's like, women who cannot get pregnant, they already have all the proper equipment inside them to actually get pregnant. It's just the equipment doesn't work. something is wrong with that equipment. And instead of being able to just fix that, take care of that, these scientists and doctors, they just want to take people who have no body for the process of being pregnant, and they want to outfit this entire body so it can become pregnant. And, it's, as I've talked about with people in my private life, that makes zero sense. Because there's more than just having a uterus or a vagina or whatever. The hips, they don't work. A man's hips is not meant to carry a child. Our body is not designed. We have, and this is something I think I even brought up in the last one, we have an extra freaking rib. Why that's one reason women probably don't have that extra rib, because they have to carry children. It has to grow. There's just so many, I don't want to say genealogical, biological reasons why men aren't supposed to get pregnant. So, there you go, feminists. Now, I know you hate men. And the truth is, a lot of these feminists, I believe, are feminists not because they they do truly believe in their cause. They do truly believe, oh, well, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the best for women. Actually, you're not. And most women are telling you, shut up. But you're not listening to them. You're not listening to the men who are telling you this. But you are doing damage. So congratulations, you're hurting your own cause. You're actually letting these trans people win. You're letting the alphabet people, you're letting them win. And you know what? They are men. 90% of these alphabet people are men. And hell, why not? Why? Do you know why they're men? Well, because they've been going to war against you and you've been winning, so they feel like, oh well, being a man is bad. Yeah, so let's transition into women. Matt Walsh recently did a video where he talked about there should not be 3 sports. And here, this is going to blow everybody's mind. I fully disagree with that. I think there should be a man's sport, a women's sport, and a trans sport. The reason why? And yeah, he said no one's going to want to watch that. But that's the point, Matt. No one's going to want to watch it. Thank you. That will show them how irrelevant they are. But they cannot compete in the women's sport. So at least the women are protected. If there is a specific branch of sports just for trans people, fine. We're not denying they can play the game. We're just denying they can play in a league that they don't belong to. Just because they say they're a woman, just because they want to look like a woman, does not make them a woman. And since they can't play in the women's league, they can go play in the trans. So you either play as a man, or you go play in the trans. No one's going to give a crap about the trans leagues, except the trans people. And they're too busy out tweeting and twittering and getting people canceled on whatever they can to really watch sports anyway? You really think they drink Bud Light? Doesn't appear that way. So yes, I think, have a trans league of every sport. Let them have their own sports. At least they're going up against their own. And then you got women protected. Men are protected. Honestly, if I had it my way, we would gather everybody up who's trans, left-leaning, racist, and by racist, I mean the people who support Black Lives Matter, because that is completely racist. I've talked about it in previous videos. We would gather them all up, and we'd either dump them on an island where they have no more say in our country, or in any country. They can have their own country, or we'd ship them to the moon. We'd go up there, we'd build them a home, we'd build them a nice big station on the moon. We'd give them plenty of supplies to get started. We dump them all up there. We say, hey, this is your planet. You do whatever you want with it. And you guys can be our neighbors. You guys think you're so much better? Prove it. Here's your chance. Turn the moon into your own world. It's your playground, your sandbox. Have at it. Then we don't have to deal with them. We don't have to worry about them. Oh, I would say we wouldn't have to worry about them attacking us from the moon. It would be a really stupid idea if they did, because we could just come back in force, and they can't hit the entire planet from the moon all at once. Unless they destroy Earth, in which case that will destroy them. So, really, we'd be pretty safe. But we wouldn't give them weapons to start with. They would have to build their own weapons somehow with what they get. And they would have to come up with a commodity system, something they could do that they could earn more from us. Because a lot of what they're going to need, they're going to have to get from us. At least to start with. In time, they can grow their own food. I'm not really entirely sure about water. They might be able to produce their own water eventually in time through some kind of water recycling. But we could be providing them with water, whatever. We could set up a trade system with them. But no, that's my idea. Either ship them to the moon and say, it's your planet, do what you like, or we drop them on an island and say, this is your country now. Like Ireland and Australia before, make of it what you can. We'll see how you do. See if you become a big power. We're planting a seed here. Let's see what comes of it. But no. And this stuff is going to continue until one side wins. And it's starting to seem that the left is really pushing really hard, maybe a little too hard, against these right people. Where Matt Walsh isn't even on YouTube anymore. That was kind of sad. We didn't get one final episode from him where he basically said he was canceling YouTube. That would, I feel, be something interesting he could have done. But he didn't do it. But yeah, so, alright, before I go, I got a couple of announcements. Book 5 of my series, The Guardian of Light, which you just saw an ad for a little while ago. That should be out on Amazon now. So if you enjoy audiobooks, if you've been listening to my audiobooks of The Guardian of Light Book 5 is finally available. I am still working on book 6. I'm planning to really pick up the pace, so things on YouTube may slow down for a little while. I've got some footage and some stuff for D&D episodes, and I really hope everybody's enjoying the new D&D TV time. Core is really enjoying watching Buffy, so yeah, I'm gonna be trying to work on getting book 6 done and released, and I'm gonna probably we're aiming for a September release, so I've got until basically the end of June to get book 6 written, and I'm halfway there, maybe. I don't know. It's just kind of something I got to start and get going on it, and once I get going, I'll just plow right through it. But yeah, so we're hoping, like I said, for a September release, right in time for the holidays to finish off the series, the first part of the series. And my narrator, you know, I have to get it all proofread, edited, and then he's gonna go through and do an edit, and then he's also gonna record at the same time, so that way we have all the files ready to go at right around the same time. They should all come out within a few days or at least a week of each other. So, but that's going to wrap up this episode today. I will talk to you all next time. And until then, please, 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 please stay safe. If there's something you'd like me to talk about, you want me to stop talking about politics, give me some topics you do want to hear me talk about. Eventually, I would like to get somebody on here to have a dialogue with other authors and their journeys. I really gotta get back into doing audiobook reviews, but yeah, so maybe in July I'll be having my audiobook review awards where I, go through and I give out like who was the best of 2022. There was a lot in 2022 I did, so. All right, I'll see y'all next time. Bye.